Welcome to the Community Spotlight Podcast with my guest today, Crestline Exempted Village School District Superintendent, Mr. Jim Saxer. Welcome back.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate being here.
All right, the newbie superintendent.
Yeah.
The new superintendent, huh?
Absolutely. Well, I'm 9 weeks in, so 9 weeks of school, so
Yep.
probably 12 weeks since I started August 1st.
Well, that in itself is a whole other experience. We could probably do a whole podcast on that.
Absolutely.
But we've completed the first 9 weeks.
Yeah.
In your estimation, went fairly well considering everything.
Yeah, actually it went well. I mean, excited to have our students back in school, and excited to just have them in the classroom and the excitement of learning and the new grade
Yes.
and everything. So
Yes.
and we try to look at the whole experience. Looking at extracurricular opportunities for students to be well-rounded and have the opportunity to just engage with more than just schooling. So it's been a good time. I've been really working on a lot of just trying to get transition, get a lot of the things that need to be done for the start of the school year, since really I didn't have time in the summer to get a lot of stuff
Right.
done. So starting August 1st has really been I feel like I've been kind of against a wall pushing that rock to get to where we need to be. And I feel like now after 9 weeks I'm kind of in that position where really getting involved in the school and being in the classrooms is really where I want to be, focused on instruction.
We had a lot of holes to fill.
Yeah.
Like I said, you had a lot of people personnel-wise, so then, like you said, it's like this is an immediate problem because this is number one on the list. So what becomes number one on the list, that's when you're starting school, you got to have the personnel there.
Absolutely.
So I understand that. Now you got a little chance to breathe
Yep.
and move forward. I know you folks are working on a strategic plan, or you're in this process. Am I correct?
Yeah, so we started the process. So before I came in the spring, the district looked at developing a strategic plan, and they kind of embodied looking at involving many stakeholders throughout the district and the community, developed core values, which kind of, we're the bulldogs. So the core values kind of centered around the acronym BARK, which stands
Okay.
for behavior, attitude, responsibility, and kindness. So one of the goals that we work on is PBIS, positive behavior intervention supports, and really it comes down to just acknowledging and rewarding and students for their positive behavior. Trying to create that positive climate in the school. And so we looking at the students' behavior, look at their attitude, taking responsibility for their learning, and then just the kindness that we show to one another in the school. And then throughout that, they came up with goal statements. So the goals areas were academic achievement, facilities and participation, family and community engagement, meaningful communication, and staff excellence. And so what our charge this year, as we started, has been to talk with our schools, our staff, looking at our building leadership teams and then our district leadership team, of developing action steps that will help us to achieve each of those goals of academic achievement. So what does academic achievement look like for our students? And we want to make sure we're putting in action steps so that we can demonstrate that growth in that goal area.
Well, I think this makes a lot of sense because you can have all the goals you have in the world, but you need to get, like you say, get them down to 3 to 5 of them.
Yep.
Concentrate on those, like you said, and what I like, which is develop an action plan, because people say, well, these are our goals. Then it's like, okay, you get a year later and you say, well, we didn't achieve that goal. Why didn't you achieve that goal? Because you didn't. A lot of times it's because you didn't set up those actions. Well, how are we going to facilitate this?
Right.
Because it's like the turning radius of the Queen Mary in any organization.
Yep.
It's a slow process.
Right.
This won't happen overnight.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and really it's getting buy-in from the staff and getting their input to say what are we going to use, and you come up with a list of, it could be 15 to 20 action steps for each one of those, and then we're going to prioritize those, and we're going to pick 2 or 3 to say, okay, at the end of this year we want to be able to show our growth in academic achievement. What does that look like?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Again, it's like anything else, like sales or anything else. You have to have goals, but you have to have a plan and say, so that I can execute a plan.
Yep.
And then you come back and then you can look at it and say, well, this worked, this didn't work, this is how we tweak the plan. I'm just kind of guessing this is where you guys are in this process,
yeah,
correct?
absolutely. Yep. And then the goal is to be able to share that with the Board of Education and with our community, to say, these are the goals areas that you set up as a district and as a community. And so we want to be able to demonstrate that we're being successful in that and moving the students forward, and each year growing and becoming, I look at it as when they graduate from high school, we want to have a solid foundation upon which they can kind of launch into adulthood and into life, and either moving on to college or career or military service. They're going into one of the three, and they need to have a solid education to be able to help them to move in that direction.
Now your district, the Crestline Exempted Village School District, that's what, roughly around 600?
Yep, just a little under. So,
Okay.
Yep.
And basically, things over time, they just change. And the fact is that you got to go with the changes in the time. I noticed you said you had stakeholders, people that were involved in this process. So what I'm getting out of this is you're getting community involvement in this, more in the schools there, would you say? Is this the objective, or are we actually getting there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we want to be there. You know, one of the first things that I was a part of when we came is we had an open house on Monday. One of the first things I did was push the start of school back. We were supposed to start on Monday, August 14th. We pushed it back a week to the 21st so that we could hire staff, so that we could do some professional development to make sure our staff was ready for the school year, because there's a lot of new curriculum that they were implementing, and you want to make sure that they have that solid foundation for them to teach, you know, and move forward. And so one of the first things we did was that open house, and we made it a community event. You know, we had entertainment. You know, we had students with the choir sang, the band. We wanted the families to come and have dinner and then to get around the school. And so it was a great turnout and an amazing opportunity for families to get involved. And that's something we want to continue, because, you know, really, you look at it, the school district, you want it to be the center of the community.
Absolutely.
And not just for those that have, you know, students in the school, but for all community members, because you would probably say majority of the community members don't have kids in the school, but your schools are going to help your community to be successful and to continue to grow, because families will want to come and move in. So therefore, we want our community members to be a part of the school district and a part of everything that we're doing.
Well, I know they're doing a lot with economic development and Crestline and things like that. And this requires an educated workforce. This
Absolutely.
requires, and not everybody moves away. Everybody acts like everybody just moves to the city anymore, and that's not always the case.
Right.
But how do you entice them? A lot of them are used to being there, and if you can give them something to, quite frankly, to stay for and stay in the community, and something positive, I'd say the likelihood is you'll hold on to some of those folks that you thought you might have lost.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see that with our staff. I mean, they are dedicated, and that's one of the first things I noticed was, you know, they love the community, they love the school, they love the students. They're there because they care. And we want to treasure that and value that and make sure that we keep them. And part of that is when we graduate our students, we want them to stay and want them to become a part of the community and part of the workforce. And
I always like to say a good tax-paying citizen
Absolutely.
to support all of the things that go on in that community, because that's what it comes down to. You have to have a nice tax base.
Absolutely.
You're not going to get a good tax base when people don't make money.
Right.
So it's that simple. It's sheer economics. So most of it seems fairly simple, but it's not as simple to execute such things, is
Right.
it?
Absolutely.
Surprises. I'm going to say on your part. Thing you're probably most surprised about. Let's start off on something positive. What was something positive that maybe you weren't expecting in the community, or was it just?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was very impressed with just the community involvement, with the parents being involved with their students, with their children, and the community being involved, and just the love for the community, the love for the district. I mean, there is. You know, I call it bulldog pride. You know, when I post things on social media, I'm hashtagging, you know, bulldog pride, because it embodies, you know, everything about the district. You can see it, and I love that involvement, and I love the fact that our families care about their kids and the education that they're getting. So,
Any other trails we want to go down today?
you know, yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just excited to be a part of the district and help it continue to grow. You know, we talked about it a little bit earlier. You know, the report card came out, and you know, our district has been focused on, you know, really 3 areas of goals that we've been working on. And you know, people in education, it's called the CCIP, or Comprehensive Continuous Improvement Plan. So it's what is the goal? What are the goals of the district to help us move forward? And we're focused on 3, and it's curriculum, instruction, and assessment, which really comes down to what we're doing on a daily basis, the quality of instruction that we provide our students, how do we assess that, and then really what I have been impressed with the report card is are what we call gap closing, is helping with intervention support when, we have to help our students. And I'm a firm believer in what's called the growth mindset, and the fact that I believe that intelligence is malleable, that students can grow their intelligence, and it's a process, because we all have strengths, we all have weaknesses, and so those areas that we struggle with, the students need to understand that you're not always going to get it on the first try.
Right.
I taught fifth grade for many years, so I always told my students, if you understood everything in fifth grade, you'd be in sixth grade. So you're not supposed to know this yet. So and then that's okay. That if you don't, it's a process to help you to learn it. And so as educators, we need to intervene and provide remediation and provide support to help the students move along. And that's one of the things that the district has really been doing very well with, is what they call closing the gap. It's helping our students to grow to where they're supposed to be. Another goal is PBIS, Positive Behavior Intervention Supports, which is really what that acronym BART comes down to with our values, is really looking at the behavior of our students, because how students behave in school, in the classroom, affects not only their education, but everybody around them.
Yes.
And so we want to make sure that the students are acting appropriately, doing what they're supposed to be doing, and sometimes it's because they may not have the skills they need to grow. And so that's where we provide that intervention support. So sometimes students, if they don't understand it, they'll, instead of saying, I just don't get it, I need help, they act out. And so we want to try to turn that around to help the students understand that you may not have it now, know it yet, but that's okay. You will, as we provide intervention and support. And then the last goal is shared leadership, is growing that leadership from within with our staff, and to help them become the leaders of the school, which then the kids look up to them, our staff in the school, and say, I want to be just like them. Mm-hmm. And so I'm excited about where we're going, and the work that we're doing. It's good quality work, it's hard work, but in the end it's worth it when you see the growth of the students and their success.
It's a lot like a team, and you have practice, and there's a reason you have practice. It's to hone those skills, so that things become second nature. Yep. And I always like to use football as an example of this. I guess theoretically, when you design a play for offense, every play can be a touchdown scoring play.
That's right.
If it's executed properly.
Absolutely.
That's the key. Yep. Execution of the plan. So what I'm looking at here, you got a strategic plan. You're developing steps, action steps to facilitate and to reach those goals of that strategic plan. Again, so that in the end, the winners can be the students and the community.
Absolutely.
And then when everybody's winners, that's when you already have a pretty cohesive community.
Yep.
And so that can be a very powerful thing if you can get it all channeled and people move in that same direction. You have a task before you. It's
Absolutely.
Not easy,
no,
but it's able to be done.
Yep.
It is able to be done if people are willing to do so.
Absolutely. And that's one thing I found, is we have an amazing staff and a great board of education that's very supportive and helping lead the direction of that we're going.
Yes.
And so it's well worth the effort.
Well, Jim, thanks for spending so much time today coming over from the Crestline Exempted Village School District.
Absolutely.
Jim Saxer, the superintendent. Whole 9 weeks in over there. Actually, I guess with the other, you said more like about 12 because you had to be there before. Yeah. But wish you every bit of success, and I think if anything we can do over here, we would glad to. We're going to have you on, on this program to keep letting people know what's going on in the schools. We support our schools. This station has always supported our schools, and we'd like to have our podcast with our superintendents, because this needs to get out, because this is the future of the county. Mm-hmm. When you've got to have the education and the skill sets for people to want to live and grow here and be, I say, responsible citizens and good taxpayers.
Absolutely.
Because us older ones like us, we won't be around forever.
That's right. So,
Jim, thanks for coming over. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate your time, and I appreciate this. This is an amazing opportunity to share the wonderful things and the hard work that Crestline's putting forward.
Well, I want to thank our company for allowing us to do this.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.